I hit record, so if you have to leave early, you can catch this. And of course, for those that couldn't make it. So, be on the lookout for lots of sessions like this. If you've caught my audio, recordings that I shared in the group, you kind of know some of what I want to talk about with you guys and some of what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go into more detail here, kind of kick us off. Leads are coming in, as you know. I haven't gotten a really current update on cost per lead, but I'm watching cost per conversions. I don't know that you need to know all those details. I'll just share real quick. Cost per conversions is tracking who's actually clicking on the ad and then clicking on the button to be then going to your lead capture page. That's a conversion. So that gives us a pretty darn good idea of where we're at. But I do need to meet with Robin one-on-one. She's on vacation managing, that side of it on her own, but it's harder to connect with her to know cost per lead. But last I looked, it was like $350, which is really inexpensive. I shared with that already. But based on cost per conversions, it might be getting, to be like $380. I don't know. It's my guess. But that's all very, very low and very, very good for organic leads that we're generating ourselves, who are responding to a video that we're in, that aren't being sold to anybody, and are responding to our message. That's a whole different ball game. And we've paid as high as $15 a lead for leads like this. So not with these ads. We got these down about in this range. So I'm really happy to see we're maintaining that. We have our daily ad spend at $333 right now per day. Of course, we started at $111, which is nothing compared to what we're doing with this budget, but we wanted to test. I think we started on Saturday or Sunday at 111. The second day we did 111, and then we did 333 for 2 days. We need to get it up to about $2,000 a day ad spend in order to be delivering these leads within the 30-day period. So that's when we're fully ramped up. I'm not quite ready to do that just yet, so they're just coming in as a trickle. But people are reporting they're coming in, and some of you have seen in the groups, people are reporting and have gotten private messages. People are reporting a lot of free signups here early. That's great. It looks exactly like it should look at this stage. So we're excited about it. There's no, nothing going wrong. It's all working the way they worked for me. So what I wanted to talk about today is just a little bit about the general emails to send to pre-enrollees coming in. A lot of you already know this. Then I want to talk about the emails for specific events. Like, for example, if someone signs up, in the team line at any particular level, you should send an email to the pre-enrollees and let them know. That's not an automated email. That's an email that you send by broadcast when an event like that happens. Then we're going to talk about the possibility of me also emailing your leads. I don't have your leads. You'd have to send them to me for me to do that. Just for an additional, prompt to them to move through the funnel and enroll. And then, and also it's going to be beneficial if I build a relationship with them through email, because they're seeing me in the Zooms, they're seeing me in the videos, closing them. So the more they see me, the more they feel, that they know where I'm coming from, the more comfortable they are to enroll. So we'll talk about that. And then general text messages you can send, general Facebook messages you can send to your pre-enrollees. I didn't do a lot of that because I had so many leads, because I did a high lead flow. So, but at first I would do it. Until I'm in momentum, I do a lot of things. Let me say that again. Until I'm in momentum, where I have just so many people interested in coming at me, until I'm there, I do and try everything. And I'll talk about what everything is today so that you can get in momentum as well. Once you're in momentum, you're not able to do all these things because you have so many people. You don't need to. But until you're in momentum, you do lots of things to create that momentum. And you change what you're sending if you're not getting a response. Like, of course, texting, Facebook messaging, emailing your free affiliate signups. You obviously need to create that connection. If you've never talked to them, you need to get to talking to them. That's the whole point. Texting, Facebook messaging, emailing. I want to say I was driving so much traffic and signing in so many people through just emails that I was getting to the point where I wasn't talking. I hadn't talked to a whole bunch of people. There's still a bunch of people I signed up at Executive Pro I never talked to, but that's not good. And that's why I stopped. you know, doing it myself and have to focus on helping you guys, because while I could keep doing that and just wait till a few people just take off in their own special way, it's not as gratifying as helping a lot of people. And then I almost want to sign people up and then like make them have to fend for themselves. So that's why I'm shifting to not, instead of me being on the leaderboard, getting other people on the leaderboard. And sorry, I forgot how to turn this off so it doesn't pop up. Ignore messages maybe. So I just don't want to click that and have it ignored indefinitely. So I'll just leave it like that. And it will keep popping up. So anyway, and don't misunderstand me when I say I was emailing people and signing up so many people, you know, over 600 signed up that way, and a lot of them executive pros and directors. When I say that, when I share that with you, like, don't get too excited about that concept. Like, it's good to create that initial momentum, but it's all about connecting. And that's why I pulled back on my own enrollments and want to teach you guys how to get there. And you want to do the same thing. Like, you don't want to get just excited about signing people up. It's more than that. If you want to see that duplication and that compounding. So it's part of it, but it's more than that. It's connection. It's developing leaders. So texting, Facebook messaging, emailing your free affiliate signups that you never talk to because you need to talk to them. Texting, Facebook messaging, emailing free affiliate signups who don't reply to the first and second messages. Now, these kinds of things don't ever throw me off. Like, nobody taught me how to do this. And so I was mentioning today in an audio, sometimes it's a little tricky teaching things that you just kind of intuitively know. But I am rather analytical and introspective by nature. So, you know, I believe that I can teach you some things that may not be intuitive for you. But I just want to emphasize that I think sometimes the most simplest basic things are missed, and that it's not coming to you maybe intuitively because you're trying too hard in a certain area and not just like being human in this. It's like, and so everything feels rigid and mechanical to the person you're, like, for example, I've given you, well, I'll come back through this. Like, I just really think that once you get it, it's like, oh, like, it's so, there's a million ways you could respond to them. There's a million different things you could write them, but it needs to be like human and make sense for what we're aiming to do. And it comes so naturally once you're in a certain mindset. Like, it's not like a rigid, like, do this, do this, do this. It's, again, giving the example of a dating scene, which, you know, it's a good example, because if somebody's saying, hey, someone sees a guy, you know, able to talk to all the girls and all the women and everything's easy and they all love the conversation and he's always going on dates, and someone might come up to him that feels awkward in those social situations and says, like, just tell me what to say, tell me what to do. And they can do that, but you know, it's not the best way to learn. It's more important to learn how to just to relax and be yourself, right? And so there's a lot of that here. What about those who sign up at builder, director, executive that you don't hear from, I meant. So when people sign up automatically, what do you do with them? We'll talk about that today. Do we still encourage auto ship now that we're doing Robert's strategy? Robert never talks about auto ship. He just lets the system do it for him. But then again, he's got a lot of leverage and momentum. And when I asked him questions about that, it's kind of obvious that he did talk about it a lot more when he was first getting his business going, when he's talking one-on-one with people. And so it is still a priority, but it's not something, well, we're going to talk about that. It's not something that, you know, that you over stress to the point that it prevents people from duplicating. Like, if you make it all seem too challenging up front, they may not duplicate. I'm going to talk about that, but it's still important. I'll talk about how you do it, how you stress that as an importance. How does connector strategy fit into this? So that's kind of gets into that, you know, Robert's connector strategy or Rainmaker strategy. Reporting click rates, open rates, why this is important, but don't just throw me out the numbers. It's meaningless without context. I'll talk about that. Communicating with me about what's happening so you can get my input. This is extremely important, but how we do that is going to be something we have to kind of figure out as we go along. You just throwing, you know, Facebook messages at me with a bunch of dialogue or whatever is not very effective. And I am so tempted to figure out how to set the settings on that thing so that I know there's a way to do it, and someone's probably telling me right now, I just don't want to get the interruption, but that's so annoying. Having those pop up at the same time. I don't want to click something and not get notifications later that I need to, like if I click ignore messages, that doesn't sound like a good idea, because I don't want to ignore these messages. I want to temporarily mute them, and not just the sound, but the actual pop-up. I don't want to turn it off. Okay, because I may forget to turn it back on. I want to just do it temporarily. They let you do that for the muting of sound, but I don't think they let you do it like that for this. You have to kind of turn it off. Then I'd have to remember. I don't want to. I won't remember. Okay, so I'm going to go back through. You can see like everything's happening in Messenger, right? Everything's happening in Messenger. I know what I'll do. Okay. You don't know what I just did, but that will keep you from seeing the pop-ups. Okay, so let's start with general emails. Let's start with general emails to send to your pre-enrollees. So as you guys know, there's this document here where I'm putting email 1, send immediately, email 2, send on the same day if possible, and we've got email 3, and I'm going to keep adding to this. There's going to be, so this is the section where these are emails that you just start sending no matter what's going on the days that it suggests. Now, in addition to those, I'm going to add another section to this document. I'll keep adding emails to this document. We'll stay ahead of them. You'll have plenty in here to stay ahead of the people coming in. And you'll always have plenty of emails to send them. Now, in addition to the ones here at the top of the document that will keep growing, there'll be another section of this document, or I may do a second document here any day. And these will be emails that you send when events happen. So going back to my, my other document here. Okay, so that's the second one here, emails for specific events. So just, there could be lots of different events. Like just an example, someone signs up and it's not Thursday yet. And so the pre-enrollees need to be notified of that event. Now, My Daily Choice will notify them, but they're not gonna all get My Daily Choice's emails. They're not gonna all see them. And so you wanna do what you can additionally to let them know. And this is a big reason why I got so many signups, guys. And it's why those of you who can't afford a big marketing budget, like you're not gonna see big signups. You're gonna see some signups if you do it, go through enough numbers. And if you reach out by Facebook message, text message, everything you can, and if you learn the nuances of how to actually connect with people, and I'm going to talk about that so that they do, so they engage with you. You have to know what to do if they're not responding. I'm going to talk about that. If you're doing those things, even on a low budget, you're going to get results, but it's just nothing near if you're able to drive a lot of pre-enrollees in. And then when someone signs up, start emailing everybody saying, hey, look, this is a big deal. And so I'm going to write emails for you and share those with you here soon that are different from the general emails you send to everybody, but that are for these kinds of specific events. And those are what you manually send out when those events happen. Can you always do it? Could there be something happening in your personal life or even here with your work, a professional life, that may prevent you from always being on top of optimally sending out all those emails to notify them? Because some days I would send tons of emails to notify them that somebody was signing up. But some days I couldn't. Some days I didn't have time because I was already in momentum. So when you get into momentum, or some days I took a day off. So don't stress out about that kind of stuff. At the same time, I was on top of it. You know what I mean? Like if I kind of fell behind on a couple of things, it became a priority the next week. I was back, optimizing. So you're not always going to be perfect with your schedule, having the time to send emails every time someone signs up underneath them. It's just the more you do that, the more signups you'll get. So I'll be adding those emails either to that document or I'll create a new document. I'll let you know as soon as that's there. For emails to send when certain things are happening, like someone just signed up underneath them, or someone just signed up an executive that you happen to know is really got a lot of potential. You'd want to say that. Or somebody signed up and already started referring pre-enrollees. and they're under them and are going to jump them. That's a big deal. They're taking action. You want to let them know, right? And so that's what those emails are about. Me emailing your leads? Yes. And we can open this up to questions. I'm going to see when my next session is today, see how much time we have here. I got to get through these things at a pace I'm comfortable with, going into the nuances that make me feel like I've covered everything, you know, really in depth. But I do want to leave time for me. Oh, so we have our 2 o'clock, our other webinar. So we'll see how we do here. I want to open this up to questions. And if you have questions about any of this, including this, we can talk about it. But I just want to let you know, I will be soon, not yet, don't do anything yet, but I will be giving you guys an opportunity to email me your leads. I don't have them. So, you know, the way the system's set up, the pre-enrollees come through your MDC page. So I don't have your email, your prospects' emails. If you want to send them to us, though, I'll give you an opportunity to do that at some point. Don't do it yet. I'm not sure where you're going to send them. I don't know how we're going to administer that yet. I'll have our team help us out with that. And then we can email the leads in addition to you emailing them. I will. You don't have to do it. I may require it with future rounds if I am truly seeing it's going to create a lot more results. But right now, it's totally your choice. If we do that, I would never promote anything else to them other than, with your permission, our affiliate programs later, like way late, like months and months and months after they became a pre-enrollee, probably after they lost their pre-enrollee account. But it's not really a priority around my mind now. I just wanted to be clear that it seems like a good idea to do that, since it would generate affiliate commissions for you. But and again, that would be with your permission. We talk more about that. So it's really just for, you know, driving signups into your MDC, because when they see emails from me on top of your emails supporting it, and I would use a more candid, informal communication style, like, hey, it's Mike. You know, my business partner's been sending you emails since you joined the MDC system. You know, we really want to help you build an income with this company. If you want to schedule a session with me, just watch the 7-minute summary. You'll see the calendar below. It's going to significantly increase results because it's candid, it's quick, it's short, it's not heavy. It's complementing what they're getting from you. So we'll talk more about that. It's definitely, I would think, I have a feeling it would about double the signups. And it doesn't take much effort. So I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for ways to significantly increase results with just a little bit, very little extra. General text messages, Facebook messages to send to pre-enrollees. So I'm on the, I'm right here. You guys don't need to follow this. This is for me, so I didn't forget anything to cover today. So I'm on the 4th one here. So general text messages, Facebook messages to send to pre-enrollees. So when I say general, I mean, like, there's just, in general, when you're aiming to create momentum, there's things that you can send out in addition to the emails to create engagement. And so that's different than what you see next: texting, Facebook messaging, and emailing free affiliate signups, for example. That's specifically free affiliates. Here I'm saying, in general, what you could send to a new pre-enrollee, or even if you don't have momentum yet and you don't have a lot of leads because you're doing like $100 a month or $300 a month, there's things that you can be sending to start creating that momentum and that engagement. Now, I've talked a little bit about this, and I really hope you guys hear me. This is about getting them to start paying attention. This is about knowing you exist. I'm going to say that again. This right here is about getting them to know you exist. So the messaging is different than I think what a lot of you think it would be. Although some of you have heard me talk about this before, so you already kind of know. It's things like, and again, I didn't have time to do this much because I usually was in momentum because I was generating so many emails. But if I wasn't, this is exactly what I've been doing, would be doing. And there were times where there was a downtime and I wasn't hearing from people and they weren't opening my emails. So, you know, when a lot of people get frustrated or feel like they're not getting results, and whatever emotion that, you know, obviously isn't excitement, whatever you want to call it, when most people feel that way, I notice they kind of withdraw. And if there's one like major difference between, you know, why I get the different results I get and everyone else doing the exact same main process, it's because when I don't see results, I don't withdraw. I amp up. Like I start texting and them and looking for them on Facebook. I create the momentum until I have so much momentum I can't do that anymore. And I'll do it if it happens again. What do you send them to create? You use curiosity. You want them to know you exist, because if they're not responding to you, they really just don't. They see your emails and it's just another email. And so you need to get them to know you exist. You need to get them to know your name, and you need them to know that you send them emails that are valuable to them. So how do you do that? You know, again, if you have too many leads, you might not have time to, because you might already be in momentum. But if you don't, or if you have extra time and you want to create more momentum, you get out your phone and you go see which pre-enrollees left their phone number to you, and you text something like, hey, just wanted to make sure you got my email - Chris Cunningham, first and last name in this case, because that's your first message to them. And now some of them are going to go to their email box and search Chris Cunningham and find your email. Now they know you exist. Will they reply to your text? Your best people probably won't. Will your click rates and open rates go up if you do this? Yes. Facebook messages, kind of the same thing. Oh, by the way, but then you got to learn what to do when they go, who's this? Do I really want to cover that today? Probably not. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get down to communicating with me about what is happening and getting my input. So sometimes they're going to text you back, who's this? Those are actually less valuable than the ones who don't communicate back, but went and searched your email and found your email. Are you following me? Do you see how I look at this process a little bit different than a lot of people? They're not responding. Well, that may not mean anything. You know, if you're doing these things, then your click rates are going up. And then they will begin responding because they're paying attention, because now they know who you are. They went and searched their email out of curiosity and started reading it, and then clicked and went and watched the 7-minute review again. And now they watch more part of the comprehensive review. They're in your pipeline. Someone texts back, who's this? I'll respond back. If I just left my first and last name, I would say, it's Mike. That's probably all I would say. Because now they're going, wait. And they go look at the other one and he says, okay, Mike Klingler. I better just go check my email and see what's going on. It's simple stuff, guys. Facebook messages, kind of the same thing. So I'd go to Facebook Messenger. Now, a lot of you are typing in their name, right, on Facebook. And again, you might not have time to do this. If you're in momentum, you won't. If you have a lot of leads, you won't. But if there's downtime, or you don't have momentum yet, or they're not really responding to their emails yet, these are the things you can do to increase. And what I have done to increase, it didn't ever take long though. I was back in momentum, and I couldn't do this a lot. If I had a low lead count, I didn't put a lot of money into this, I'd be doing this a lot to maximize what I get out of it. So I'd go into Facebook messages, I'd type in their name, first and last name. And okay, listen carefully. I type in their first and last name as they had entered it in, but I'd also type in their first and last name as it might really be on Facebook. So in other words, if they entered in William Bronson as a pre-enrollee, I'm going to go type in this Facebook William Bronson. But I'm also going to type in Bill Bronson, because maybe that's what their Facebook name says. Stuff like that. And often multiple people come up. So if they left a phone number, I'm going to go to Google real quick. This takes seconds. I'm going to type in the phone number and say what state is blah, 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 or what country, what location. I'm going to find out, like, oh, they're in Wyoming. Based on their phone number, Google tells me right away they're in Wyoming. So I'll go type in William Bronson, Wyoming. I might also search William Bronson, Wyoming, and his email address. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. So when you give the location, if they give you their phone number, you can find out from Google their location. That might narrow down the number of results coming up. Now, if 3 or 8 people come up and I'm trying to create momentum, I'm going to contact all of them. Okay. And what am I going to say? You know, if it's an initial general message, first one, it's probably something very similar to the text, but not exactly the same, because that's weird if I texted them and now I'm messaging the same message. I might say, hey, I sent you an email, also sent you a text, wanted to make sure you got it. It's really important. I just want their curiosity to go search their text, go search their email. Now they know who I am. Now they pay attention to more emails. Now they clicked and went a little bit deeper. That's all I'm doing in the general text messages and Facebook messages. Okay. Texting, Facebook messaging, emailing, free affiliate signups you never talk to. You know, so I gave you this in the chat, and I'll give it to you again here, and it can be a little bit different every time I give it to you because I'm just intuitively doing what I do. I don't actually go copy what I said before when I do this, so it comes out different every time. But conceptually, it's the same kind of thing. So if I was texting someone who just signed up as a free affiliate because they left their phone number, and I think all free affiliates would probably include their number if they signed up, it might even be required. So again, these aren't pre-enrollees, these are people who signed up for free. I would text them, hey, and I would say, hey, because it's candid, it's informal. If it's not your personality to say, hey, I mean, just what would you say if you were excited when you see your best friend like show up at your door? I don't know. If you literally don't have an expression that you use, maybe it's just hi or hello, no matter how excited you are or surprised to see them, then say hi or hello. But, I would probably say, hey, hey, exclamation point, saw you enrolled or saw you signed up, and MDC. I wouldn't say my daily choice. It's too long for a text. I mean, you've read text. You don't want to see a bunch of stuff. Like you want to get it quick. And so it's texting. I'm going to say, for sure, I'm going to say MDC. Can we leave voice messages on text? If we can, I might follow it up with one. I can't remember. I don't use my phone that much anymore. Seems like I've left audio messages for people a long time ago. I would do that though. I've been doing that a lot on Facebook. It's really effective. When I texted, I just did text, but now that I've started audio messaging on Facebook and seeing the improved results, I would be doing audio messaging and text and send them I would send them a written text and then an audio message. Anyway, and it'd be really short. Just want curiosity and stuff at this point. And so, so I'm saying, hey, saw you signed up into MDC. Do you want our help getting an income fast? Dash Mike. And then if I was doing an audio message on texting, I would follow it up with that saying, hey, it's Mike. Just want to make sure you got my text. Saw you signed up as a free affiliate. And I just wanted to know, do you want our help making an income here? Hey, let me know. I wouldn't go on and on. That's it. Facebook messaging, same kind of deal. I wouldn't use the exact same words every time, or it's just weird to get the exact same message. I would go to Facebook messaging, do the searching like I talked about. Now here, I would only do audio message. You can do text if you want to, but it's not going to be as effective. So I don't know why you would. And even if you think your voice isn't like good or whatever, it just doesn't work like that in the real world, guys. Like people respond better to voice, even if you think your voice isn't good. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't. And maybe their voice doesn't sound good either. So guess what? They're gonna love you more. There's a connection. So don't think like that. I'd leave an audio message saying, hey, so-and-so. I would, sometimes I say their name, sometimes I don't. Here, I would say their name more. I'd be more up to say their name. Text, I'd be really wanting to be short. Here, I still want to be short, but it doesn't have to be as short. Say, hey, so-and-so, saw you signed up as a free affiliate in My Daily Choice. We got a whole team here, including myself, willing to help you get to an income fast. Let me know if you want our help or want to go it alone. I just added a little bit different. Didn't think about it much. Didn't need to. You won't either. Once you get this, it's like putting butter on a muffin or toast. For those of you who listen to my audio, you know why I make both references. Emailing free affiliate signups you never talked to before, same kind of thing. It's just a private email. I'd also do that because you got to hit them from all the angles. I wouldn't use the same exact language. Hi, so-and-so. I might decide to be a little bit more formal in this one. Hi, so-and-so, comma, space. It's a little bit more formal. You know, I just noticed, this time I said I just noticed, you enrolled instead of signed up. You don't want to use the exact same language in all these 3 messaging locations. It's silly. It looks funny. It looks like you're cookie cuttering everything. I saw you just, or I noticed you just, or I just noticed you enrolled in My Daily Choice. Go ahead and say it there. I might even give it the link to log in this email, by the way, a little bit lower. And wanted to know if you wanted our help making an income, or if you'd like to go it alone. If you've done this before, that's fine too. But we're here to help you do this fast. If you want to build it fast, just let me know. And then I'd say, remember, you can log in here to your account. The marketing tools are right there for you. Let me know if you want our help. Something like that. Okay. Because you want to create that connection. Now, what do you do after that? Well, we could talk all day, right? But it's just a step-by-step process. So we're going to start here today, and we're going to do more trainings. And I mentioned earlier, like, if you don't know how to respond, then don't. If they come back with a question or something and you don't know how to respond, and if you're not 100% confident that you know exactly how to turn this into a lot of momentum, then you don't know how to respond, and you're going to want to get my feedback initially. And it's okay if a few days go by for our next training for you to ask me before you respond. But you also can listen in to other trainings where I'm talking to other people and take notes, and you're going to hear just about every scenario come up through that process of how to respond to just about anything that can come up and any question that can come up. You really don't want to be the one caught answering questions. You're going to want to connect them to me on my calendar, or connect them to me by private Facebook group and introduce them to me for a one-on-one. I really only want to, ultimately meet with people who are 8s, 9s, and 10s, or people who can definitely put us in touch with 8, 9s, and 10s if you're going to introduce them to me on Facebook Messenger. But if we've never done one before and you don't know how to do it and you're just not sure, even if there are 1, 2, or 3, then go ahead and introduce me on Facebook Messenger, and you can see how simple it is. And then you can start just bringing me your 8s, 9s, and 10s. And I know a lot of you are going to introduce them to my calendar incorrectly. And so I want to see all of that. And we're going to get down to this communicating with me about what is happening and getting my input. Like, don't assume you're doing it right. Be okay with doing it wrong, but realize that if it's not creating a lot of momentum, there's something subtle you're missing. And you want to bring it all to me. Bring me your communications on our trainings like this, and let me read what you're doing and tell you what little changes to make. A lot of you, I notice, will put, when I look at the communications you send out and they don't really do anything, it's because you're putting too much on them. Like, I'll see, like, a lot of times people will say, I'd love to introduce you to my business partner. Friend me on send me a friend request on Facebook, and I'll be able to introduce you to Mike. He's done all this and this and this. It's like this big long thing, and you're asking them to friend request you. It's just too much information all at once. They're not going to do that. And in this case, I could imagine some of you doing like, hey, I'd love to introduce my business partner. He's really successful in the company. He can help you get to an income fast. Oh, that's good. That's all you should really say. And then you say, would you like to connect with him so he can help you? And boom, done. Like, keep it simple and short. Make them say yes. Don't like slam more into the message. If so, like, let them say yes. I want you to introduce me to him because I want his help. And then you come back and say, okay, awesome. I usually introduce people on Facebook. Do you use Facebook? It's tiny steps, guys. But I see a lot of you doing, you'll say something like, okay, great. Let me introduce you on Facebook. Here, do this and this and this. Like, friend me on Facebook so I can introduce you. No. Slow it down. You want engagement. You want back and forth engagement. No, Mike, I want to be efficient. I want to get it all out now so I don't have to go back and forth. No, it's not going to work. They're going to ignore you. It's too much. So instead it would be like, Okay, I usually introduce everyone to them on Facebook. Do you use Facebook? Not do you use Facebook? If so, let me know your link. Just do you use Facebook? And then they come back and they go, no, I really haven't used Facebook much. And then you come to me and say, here's my situation, Mike. What do I do now? What I would tell you to do is then you would say, okay, well, here's a link to his calendar. Go ahead and schedule. And you would even say, I notice he has an opening at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Does that work for you? I'll teach you this stuff, guys. It's so easy. It's really basic stuff. But if you do it wrong, because you don't get it, then yeah, it's not going to create the momentum. You're not going to get the response. You're not going to get the momentum. But you hang around long enough here, you're going to realize how darn simple this is, and you can create massive momentum with these leads. And then you start having them bringing us their referrals and their referrals and their referrals, and it's all she wrote. Okay, so we'll keep talking about that stuff. For now, I want you to understand conceptually what the aim is, and just to kind of get rid of some of the big mistakes. What about those who sign up at Builder, director, and executive that you didn't hear from? They just signed up on their own. Well, yeah, you definitely want to reach out, very similar to the free affiliates. And I'll have some emails like that for you. But just in general, you want to do what you did with the free affiliate signups. Obviously not mentioning free affiliate, but it would be, you would send them a text saying, hey, you might just initially send an email because they're obviously serious. If they don't respond to the email, then, within the next day, you would send a text, hey, did you get my email? Saw you signed up into MDC, sent you an email, we're here to help. And if they still don't respond, and then I'd go to Facebook Messenger. If they didn't respond, I'd be really trying to get their attention. And the email would sound, I'd send them a personal email that would, and again, I'll write this out and give it to you guys in a day or two. But you would just basically say, I noticed you enrolled at the Builder level into My Daily Choice. And I wanted you to know you have a whole team here, including myself here to help you get to an income. We're working with the top earner in the company. Here, you tell them a little bit more, or because they made more of a commitment. We're working with the top earner in the company. Mike Klingler is also available, who's made 140 grand now in his first 8.5 months. You're working with some of the best, and we're here. Let me know if you want our help and to know how to use your marketing tools to get to an income fast. So a little bit more there than when we wrote the free affiliates, because they've invested some money, and so they're more vested into the process. So they're more apt to want to hear these things. The free affiliates obviously are at a lazy stage in the process, so you would write much less. Do we still encourage auto ship now that we're doing Robert's strategy? By the way, and let's say you don't hear, I'm going to go back to that. Let's say you don't hear from them. And let's say you texted them, you still don't hear from them. You Facebook messaged them, you still don't hear from them. Then you would send another email a few days later saying, hey, you enrolled at Builder into My Daily Choice. I'm assuming to make an income. If not, please let me know so I can take you off my list. We're here to help. And if you still don't hear from them, you would text them saying, I really need to hear from you. Did you get my email? This is important. Do you see why, I'm able to get a lot of people responding to me, and compare it to if those of you that have been communicating with your leads, why maybe you haven't been able to, and it's difficult to teach you everything to do for every scenario, but I'm going to make that real attempt. You see me doing that now. It's really just understanding people, keeping it simple, understanding yourself, right? You don't want a bunch of information when you don't know what's going on yet. So you need to create the engagement. So you just say things like, this is really important. Did you get my email? It gets someone's attention, and that's what you need to do initially until you have it. How does this connector, oh, no, I skipped one. Do we still encourage auto ship now that we're doing Robert's strategy? Yes, but particularly in the cold market, it's important people get on auto ship if they want to be added to level 1, level 2, level 3, and get the formal support from me. However, if you contact some of the most influential people some of the best people and you ask for their help, you're expanding a company, that you want to ask them to take a look at it to see if there's somebody that comes to mind that we can help with this, and then you introduce, you maybe refer them in, you introduce them to me and Robert. You do not want to stress auto ship in that case on the front end. Because there we're leading with, it's free to sign up and the marketing tools are free. Why? Why do we lead with that there? Because that's how Robert was able to get 20,000 purchasers in his organization, even though he only talks to like 30. He doesn't know 99% of the people in his organization. How did that happen? It happened because he showed everyone and demonstrated a duplicatable process that removes the resistance. When there's too much of a sales emphasis on the front in the connector model, not the marketer model, but the connector model I'm talking about, then people just don't do it. And then the compounding doesn't happen. But when you remove that resistance, like stressing it's free to sign up and the marketing tools are free and they've paid 13 people $1 million and they're doing these amazing things who are helping them with expansion. I just know that if you were to take a look at this, you would think of some people we can help. It removes the resistance and the fear that they're just being sold. And that connector model begins to take off. People start doing it and then they start doing it and then they start doing it. It looks slow at first. It's the opposite of the marketing method. Like I got to 50K affiliate my first month with the marketing method. But this one starts out slow and we have them all through our organization now. Some of them under you and you don't even know it because it doesn't look like immediate volume. But I can assure you, we have much more exciting things going on in our organization right now than you can even fathom because people are doing the connector model. And we're going to want the leads coming in through this to know about the connector model. And we're going to plug them into that. And I'll get to that in a second. But my point here is the connector model is really effective because it compounds because you remove the resistance that usually keeps people from promoting and growing. Here, the Robert strategy method is so simple and so unintimidating, not intimidating, that it gets duplicated. And part of that is not stressing auto ship on the front end. Part of that is stressing, hey, it's free to sign up and the marketing tools are free. That's the connector strategy. Now, I'm going to say one more thing about that connector strategy, even though that's not our training today, so there's no confusion. You still encourage auto ship at the appropriate time. Someone refers someone through the connector strategy and that person signs up and you go back to the person who referred them and say, hey, Jane signed up. You'll get 25% because you're at the free affiliate level, but let me know if you'd rather have 50%. Yeah, I'd rather have 50%. Okay, let's look at these business options. And now you show them a little bit more detail at that point because now they just saw it work and they got a check coming. And it's their choice. Of course they want to make more. So now they're more interested in making a investment into it because they already saw it work. That's Robert's strategy. Or check it out. And Robert's gone, I think he said 7 levels deep in one day once with that connector strategy. He doesn't usually go that fast, but he said, he always tried to have like a record where somebody referred somebody at the free level, activated their account for free, referred a pre-enrollee, activate their account for free, down 7 levels. And then the person on the 7th level signed up finally. And then he went to the person who referred him and said, hey, 50% or 25%. And then he went to the next, and then they signed up. He went to the next person. Hey, you got 2 people down there. You want 50% or 25%. And you already got someone on the 2nd level. You want to make money on the 2nd and beyond? Then he went to the next one. He signed up a bunch of people through that chain. That's the Magic Fist connector strategy. And leading with your marketing tools are free and it's free to sign up. But then once that starts happening, he mentions, he actually doesn't do it. He doesn't actually talk about auto ship. He lets the system do that. But I would encourage, I think he can get away with that because he has so much leverage and he's just, able to leverage at that level. I would encourage at that stage, when you're having those kinds of conversations with people, 25% or 50%, and after you get them in, then you say, hey, I just want you to know, it's convenient to get on auto ship. And you can send them to a link where Josh talks about it. You say there's loyalty points and you say this will maintain your position and you won't forget and you remain qualified. I would mention at that point, but not on the front end if it's a connector strategy. Now with our strategy, we're encouraging director, level 1, level 2, level 3, director and auto ship, executive and auto ship, executive pro and auto ship. And that's in our presentations. And it's what I'll talk about with people who come into the marketing role. Because it's the marketing role, it's completely different. We don't expect the marketing role to duplicate itself out. The marketing role is for you guys to get initial growth and momentum. And yeah, some people might sign up and duplicate the marketing role, but that's not going to compound out to, huge organizations. We're going to, not let it, I don't want to manage a $60 million per month budget for everybody. So when people come in through the marketing role, that's awesome. You're getting these signups and stuff, and people are coming in. We're going to want to get them on auto ship. We want them to treat it like a business because they're not duplicating the connector role. Well, at least not yet. And that's exactly what we want to do. So we get them plugged in, we get them on auto ship. We want to see that commitment because we're going to be working with them now. We're going to be building a relationship with them now. And then we're saying, okay, here's Robert Hollis's strategy. Who's some of the most influential people you know? Put the best people in front of us, and we can help get this thing really flying. Now, some people might say, I don't want to do that. I want to do the marketing role. Okay, fine. That's fine. But a lot of people will say yes to the connector role. And I've got a number of people who came into the marketing method who are now introducing some of the best people they know to Robert. And it's the most exciting stuff because those are the really influential people. And we've got some really influential people recently who have joined up. And some of them will want to do the marketing role, but because we've infused this message into it, they understand that they also have the connector strategy and they can connect people to us and they can bring some of the best people they know, and really big magic growth can happen from that. So again, in the marketing strategy, yes, we emphasize auto ship. If they want to get into level 1, level 2, level 3 and plug in, if that's the way they came in, they need to come in at director, executive, or executive pro on auto ship, and that's in the presentation. However, if they come into the connector strategy, that's not the emphasis on the front because that's where we're counting on duplication and compounding. And we want the front end message to be, it's free to sign up and the marketing tools are free, get them in, then use the Robert Hollis strategy to drive that down deep. And then when someone signs up, go upline and say, hey, you want 25% or 50%? That's the magic of that. And that's how the connector strategy fits in. So we don't have to go deeper into that. Okay, reporting click rates, open rates, why is this important? So it's not helpful for you guys to post in here or post on a Facebook message, my click rates are low, here's what they are, here's the percentage. Like, I need more details. And so for right now, just hang on to those details yourself, watch them. I've let everyone know that's in the elite group, people who've done 1,000 or more. I'm gonna start looking at their data first because there's less of them to manage, and it should be a pretty good idea of what's happening for everybody. So I shared that in their group. And just so you guys know, and I want to talk about it with you on calls like this as we have them in the future. We're going to have a lot of these so that I can have an engagement, ask more questions. But just understand, don't throw data at me that's incomplete. So in other words, just tell them your click and open rates means nothing. Are you talking about just your welcome email? Are you talking about all your emails? And like, if you're talking about all your email, let's just say you're even just talking about your welcome emails. If you sent 3 welcome emails out over the course of, let's say, 3 days, and you're giving me the total click-through rate, is that including the emails you just sent out like an hour ago to your newest leads? Because that's going to bring the click rate way down. So you have to look at the data and share it with me really specifically. And that might require an engagement. It might require me looking at your screen. So when we get on calls like this, always be ready. Like, if that's what you want to talk about, and if you have a low click rate, like we need to talk about it, then be ready on a call. I mean, today we don't have enough time because I had to go over all the basics, but when we do these kinds of calls, I'm going to want to be ready to just pass the screen over to you. You have it ready, have it open, and show me your click rates and stuff. And pay attention as much as you can to what's going on. If you don't know this stuff, then you'll have to learn this, through those engagements with me and say, Mike, I don't even know how to check my click rates. And we can talk about that, in future calls, but just make sure you don't throw numbers out at me without context. It's just not helpful. But we'll be looking at that stuff, and we'll be looking at that stuff together. And just remember, when you're on calls like this, to be ready to show me. Let me pass the screen over to you, and don't fumble around and stuff and have us wait 15 minutes before you finally get the data up. Okay. And then communicating with me about what is happening and getting my input. I mean, I just covered that. So we'll leave the last 10 minutes here to Q&A, to questions and answers. If you can't tell, I'm extremely excited about the results we've been seeing so far. For those who joined late, we're still in the early ramp up stage. So we're at $333 ad spend right now a day. I've been trying to meet with Robin, and I hope to meet with her tonight to figure out our cost per lead. Last I looked, it was under 350, which is really inexpensive for this high quality of lead. You know, I paid as much, and I would continue to pay as much personally for these kinds of leads, at least $15. So it's really, really inexpensive that way. With that said, I need to see what the cost per lead is now, because some time's passed, a day or two, since I've calculated that, and I need to be on with Robin as she's looking at her data and I'm looking at mine to be able to determine that. So I'll let you know as soon as I get an update on that, but I'm not ramping up until I read that. And also there's some things I just don't want to get into right now because they're really subtle, but some things we want to change about the ad just to lock out the possibility that the ad shows itself to people who already opted in. We don't want the ad to keep showing itself to people who already opted in. And so before I ramp up, we're going to take care of those things. So we're keeping it $333 ad spend a day until we get those things corrected. I'll keep you posted. It's still going to be in on a lower level, but they're coming in good, and people are getting, you know, free affiliate signups. There's a lot of exciting things going on, but we're still very early. With all that said, let's go ahead and open this up to questions. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have any questions at all. Go ahead and raise your hand. I'm going to go to Paul. Hey there, Paul. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, Mike.
Awesome.
Okay, hey, so you know my strength is in the connector role.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of experience in the email marketing,
Right.
so I'm not exactly sure. I went to my first leads and I just sent them from my Gmail. I don't know what the open rates are. I don't know. You must use your Aweber, like you said.
Yeah. If you're using Gmail, or you're using your regular email, and I'm a little concerned if you're using Gmail, then your address is something like paulschooler@gmail.com, right?
Correct. I have another email. I'm just not sure how to go about this.
So
And how do you track it all? How do you know? I mean, I'm thinking about creating a spreadsheet.
Well, let me answer, because we're short on time. So I want to make, I know where you're at. You got a lot to learn. You have a lot to learn, but you don't need to learn it all right now in order to start getting results. I'll share with you the pieces you should know about, and then you can kind of make a judgment call on how much you want to do to optimize versus, you know, not necessarily have to optimize right now. So the first thing is, and you kind of already knew this part because I heard you start to say it, Aweber or GetResponse or one of these email systems is going to be is a tool that costs some money. You know, they're not very expensive, but they cost something. Some of them are pretty cheap, like $15 a month, might even be cheaper. There's some that, you know, $30 a month, depending on the features. And we've talked about those, and you can ask in the community what people recommend. If I referred you, we sent you a step-by-step page, you know, step-by-step getting started page. And the very bottom of that page, we talk about and recommend the email system that we would recommend. That would allow you to track clicks and opens.
Gotcha.
And then you can send through your regular email account, especially at first, if you're getting very little leads. If you only did $100 a month or something like that, that would be few enough leads that you could probably send those through your regular email account. You just won't be able to read what's going on. And, you know, so at some point that's going to be beneficial to know what that engagement is. So at some point you're going to want to get an email system. Now, with all of that said, I would just caution those of you that are if you're sending it through a Gmail account or something, and it's like paulschooler@gmail.com, you know, it doesn't look very professional. So you might want to buy a domain name and get like paulschooler.com. So it's like paul@paulschooler.com. It just looks much more professional than a Gmail. With that said, it's not a requirement. It's just going to optimize results if you have a more professional email send from address. We've covered all this training before. I don't know where it all is any better than you do, probably, Paul. You know, we set all that up and we shared about it 1,000 times, and you know, there's so much. So you got to go hunting for it, ask around the community for that training. And if you can't find it, keep asking every week until I finally just go hunting for it and find it for you. But you could just do a Google search. This is all just general knowledge, and say, you know, how do I buy a domain name and connect it to my email? You know, but this is all work, and this is why I don't want to duplicate the marketing method and teach all that forever. That's why we're going to the connector model, because it grows much faster, because it doesn't have these kinds of conversations. But you guys are in the marketing model. It has its advantages. It is going to optimize your results if you get your own email address. It's a professional address, and you start sending from Aweber or somewhere like that. But it doesn't mean you have to start there, because you still will be able to connect and initiate the process, even if you're just sending from your Gmail account.
Yeah, and I have the domain and I have the Aweber and I have all that from the first setup. I'm just the how to and is just a little bit where I'm confused.
The how-to which?
How to keep track and how to do it.
Well, again,
And
if you have Aweber and you sent an email through Aweber, then just contact Aweber customer support and say, how do I learn how to see my click and open rates, with your system?
I got you.
They'll tell you.
I'll message you personally. I'm still a little confused.
No, go ahead. Where are you confused? I need to know.
I just need to learn a little bit more how to use Aweber. I know I can go.
Okay, but did you hear me say the step-by-step page shows you how to sign up with Aweber, right? You heard that part?
I got all that, but
Okay. So from here, Aweber will tell you how to use Aweber.
how do I keep track of the email to my first, and then the second, and then there's new leads, and then
I have no
you know,
idea.
okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know
I
how
don't
you
want to.
tracked
I
all
have
that. I
no
don't
idea.
know.
I don't keep track. I just go. I log into iContact, which is another version of Aweber, and
Uh-huh.
I send the email like they showed me to. That's all I
Oh,
do.
all right.
That's literally what I do. I don't think about any of that stuff. So again, I think it's more going to Aweber if you're using Aweber and asking them how to send an email, and they've got all that training.
Yeah, I know how to do all that.
Okay, then from there, just ask them the questions. It's their system.
Got it.
Okay. And I see Tiffany has her hand up. Hey there, Tiffany. You have to unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, so I kind of came into this all a little bit late. I was just hoping to get the answer. I posted it in the group, but where am I finding the emails to send out to the leads? I haven't got any leads from the ads yet, but when I do start getting them, where do I find
Are
the
you in
emails to
our
send?
chat group that posts the
Yeah,
update?
yeah.
Okay, and I'm assuming you've never gotten an email update from us, or
No, I mean, maybe I haven't checked my email, I guess.
okay, yeah. I mean, if
Is it coming through email?
I sigh because it's like I'm not able to read you this whole rest.
Yeah, you don't have to. I can look around the groups better and
It's in the chat group and we email it, and I'll keep doing that. I'll keep
okay.
doing that. So and I'm sure if you went in the chat group and just asked, somebody could send that to you, and I certainly would too. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just really long address to give you. So
No worries. And then another thing is
I keep pushing it out.
I didn't know that I was supposed to be connecting you to only the 8s, 9s, and 10s. So the guy that we're meeting with I don't know where he's at on that level. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to mention that real
That's
quick.
okay. That's all
Okay.
right. And guys, if you want to connect me to somebody, you're not sure if they're an 8, 9, or 10, or maybe they know an 8, 9, or 10. But if you're not sure if it's
Yeah.
going to be worth my time, let's go ahead and do it. And then I'll let you know, and we can go from there. And then you can at least see how to do, a Zoom like that, because you're going to still want to meet with people and qualify them. So that's okay, Tiffany. No
Okay.
problem at all. If in doubt, try to make the connection.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, I got to get to my next session, but yeah, keep it simple on yourself. Things that you need to learn, don't feel like you have to all learn them immediately. Do what you know how to do. And like talking with Paul, and as others of you might be here, if that means sending your emails through Gmail, then that's where you send them. But then you come to me and you find out, oh, it might be better to send them through Aweber. And if you don't know how to set that up, we have a lot of training like that we've provided, but a lot of this is general knowledge. You can go to YouTube, start typing in your questions. You can go to Aweber in this case and ask your questions, but don't feel like you need to learn it all at once. Start with what, simple, and then improve over time. That's the disadvantage of the marketing strategy. There's little stuff to learn. And with Robert's strategy, there really isn't. But again, highly rewarding, the marketing strategy, when you get it down, and it can be massive. So I feel it's worth doing, but I don't want to push it on the front end because it's not very duplicatable. Okay, guys, we'll have more of these. I better get to my next session. We'll keep doing trainings like this, so keep your eye open, and we'll keep adding to the emails. And yeah, Tiffany, just go in the chat group and ask for the link. I know someone will send it to you, and you'll have that. We'll keep adding emails to this, so you'll stay in front of it. Okay, guys, they're on. They're not on full throttle yet, but we'll keep cranking it up, and I'll keep you posted. Have a fantastic afternoon, everybody. Let's have some fun.